Think of how you joke and make fun of your best friends because you know and care for them. Now think of the left and protected groups. So I had this thought the other day of just the regular banter that you have. I did this recent reading of a letter that Marx wrote to Engels in what was it July? It was like something like July 30th, 1862, because of based off this meme, and it was to me it was interesting just to see his regular day to day banter instead of more of the official writing and stuff, his official prose, just kind of just a personable thing. He was throwing some adult language in there about certain terms that could get him canceled in the current culture, but he might have be protected because of his politics. But he was talking about certain things and just the banter about his friend LaSalle and I don't even think LaSalle would have necessarily read that letter and been so offended enough to never talk to Marx again. But I don't know what kind of discourse they had. And I might find different letters and try to read more of these things and see if I can get more of that. But I'm thinking of my own personal relationships with certain friends, where we have certain lingo, certain language, and certain accents, certain things we talk about and bounce back to that we have shared memories, camaraderie. You look at something even within the African American descendant of slaves, black community in the United States of America. They say that adult language here. They say like the word nigger. They can call each other my nigga. That's my nigga. Like I can call him that because that's my boy. That's my brother. We fam. I can call him that. But then if you, a random person, just come by and be like, yo, my nigga, that is a whole different deal. That word all of a sudden is like, now you're about that smoke. Now you're about to catch something. Now, all of that happens because those two people initially saying, that's my nigga, they niggas. They know each other. There's no insult in that word. That word is still just that word. But because they have that camaraderie, because they know each other, they can joke about these things. Now, that's the same thing I was thinking with my friends. We had certain friends when I was growing up. I traveled around, so I never actually got too much in cliques where I would bounce from different cliques in high school, in middle school, I think even in college and things like that. I think even growing up, even past that, as in my adult life, I've met people in different kind of spheres of different locations, and I'm able to converse with them and kind of mix with them. I think it also might be part of just taking over things with my parents are both diplomats, and maybe there's something about their certain personalities and the way they live their life that was more diplomatic about coming in and discussing with people and adjusting, and then I did that, and then also just part of just moving around different cultures and different continents, different nations. You have to adjust somewhat to actually fit in. So I would get in, learn different languages, learn different mannerisms, learn different ways of doing the same things, achieving the same goals in different ways, or trying to do different things in the same ways. So these are things that I'd pick up on. And some of that is understand how to communicate with certain people. When you can say something to a certain person. You can call someone this. You can call someone out about this. You don't just walk around pointing out like, hey, dude, you need to fix this in your life. Oh, hey, why are you doing this a certain way? But then if you have a good friend, at least one thing I value with good friends is if I'm messing up in my life, a good friend of mine can come up to me and be like, yo, you need to check that. That's going wrong. Like, maybe you should do this better. Or if somebody has a good friend and then they tell me something about their history and they can ask me about it, or I can ask them about the thing in my history and expect them to actually just tell me straight up, be like, yeah, you messed up there. That was okay. This person should be out of your life. Maybe you add this to your life. And they can be very honest and critical with me because I understand it's coming from a good place. I understand some of the language and the analysis and the critique they give me is not coming to hurt me. It's coming from a positive place. Now, when you look at these protected groups, where you can't just point out some very basic realities about what some of them do and behave like, there's certain words that you can't even say around them. I had a video that I still have a community strike on my YouTube channel. I'll leave a link below to that video that's on BitChute about beware of the bleep, where I was talking about this certain group. People say you need to be beware of this group. Not, and there's another thing. There's other things in the world. Like just think about like a basic thing. Beware of electric fence. They put that sign up because they're admitting knowledge that electricity, an electric fence, is dangerous. So you need to be cautious around that electric fence. You need to be wary that it's coming. Just think about this thing. Oh, shh, shh, shh. Someone's coming. The teacher's coming back in class. Shh, shh. Be quiet, be quiet. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just sit there quietly. You're doing that because you have a fear of the teacher. You think that if you come in, that teacher can come and punish you and treat you in a way that is not positive. So when you do this thing where you're like, oh, this group of people, we can't talk about them. We can't talk about this thing with this group of people because you fear that group of people. The people that you're okay with mocking and you're like, ah, yeah, these people need to do this thing different. Ah, no, 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 we demand you do this. Oh, no, 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 you should change this in your life. You should do this. Those are people you don't necessarily fear. And I think you just recently saw something with this Chaz Chop situation, which for me, again, so glad that they didn't roll in there with the feds. Even though unfortunate things have happened, horrible things have happened, and there's some horrible things have happened. This one kid was just shot the other day. Two kids were shot. One of them died. The father was appealing for the National Guard to go in and clear it out. And as I'm recording this, they actually just went in there with some bulldozers and took down the barriers. But I think I had heard the barriers had been taken down and they put some barriers back up. There's some mixed news coming out of there. But you had a situation where some councilwoman in Seattle actually took some of the protesters, had apparently let some of the people involved in this movement into City Hall after work hours of City Hall and things like that. She'd actually let some other people, I think, into the Chaz Chop zone, and she led a procession of people to the mayor's actual residence. And then it was like, oh, no, no. These people don't fear you that much anymore. They're people who are like, we don't fear the mayor. We're going to go and we demand you do this because they think they're in a position of power. But when you are in a position where, we can't talk about these group of people, and maybe some of the people on the left like, we can't talk about these people. I don't think it's from a position of fear. I think it's like a position of utility where they're like, okay, we can use this to actually solve other things. But I don't think the mayor counted on it becoming this real for her life. Well, anyway, so when it comes to this situation, you kind of put certain groups in this protected mental class where like we can't actually touch this. This is a topic we can't touch. We can't joke with these people. We don't really get what's happening in this community. And one thing I have noticed is some of these people who are on this political sphere who talk about these protected groups don't necessarily have as diverse of friends that fall into these supposed protected groups. And in many cases, I've said this for myself. If you know me and think that by knowing Silas, by coming to this channel, you somehow have good knowledge into what your average Kenyan thinks, or your average person that you define as black, when I just say I happen to be black, I don't think you're being correct. I don't think that's accurate because your average Kenyan doesn't have a YouTube channel. Your average Kenyan has lived most of their life in Kenya, hasn't traveled around the world. Your average black person identifies themselves as black and thinks they are part of the black culture, and it's a very definitive thing about them. This guy right here is still trying to understand and define what black means, and I think it's more specific, a specific tribe in the United States of America that I don't think I could ever actually be a part of from the basic things that are in there. And I think when you get close to American descendants of slaves, that is part of, I think, the requirement for the actual specific term of what I see being referred to as black in a general sense. So when you have these other groups, they have, it's not necessarily token. Like they look at a Republican Tim Scott, he's a senator or congressman, like, oh, the Republicans use it as a token. That's a token black person. Well, Al Sharpton, well, all the black caucus members, they're also token black people. They're not like your average black person. They might have some of the requirements, but just being politicians, as having all these other interests and powers and abilities, changes them. They're not Jenny from the block anymore. If you're meeting somebody in your enclave, they're in a specific group. Even Black Lives Matter activists are a specific group. The average black person is not a trained Marxist. So we're getting these people. Get back to just treating people as individuals when you actually get to know them. But then when you have these different things where you're like, these special groups, we cannot talk about them. We cannot joke about them. Any joke about this person is offensive to this group because you don't get that person. I have friends. There's a certain group that I'm in online with some member that he's actually living in a country in the Middle East, North Africa, He's Muslim. He jokes around and banters about Islam, about homosexuality, about other terms that could be haram, taboo, that if I'm just going by, I would not just walk around Afghanistan randomly and just joke about the banter that I joke with this guy with. Because somebody might kill me, because I don't know these people. These are not my friends. But then in this group, with this individual, we understand, we have an agreement. He's shown that he is somebody who can actually engage and joke around certain topics and take certain things lightly, even though he strongly believes in certain things in his own way. So with him, I can banter back and forth because we have that camaraderie. So when you look at these people on the left who say you can't talk about black people this way, you're offended on behalf of black people, you can't do this, because it comes from a place of fear, because it comes from a place where these people don't know these people. These people are people that they think are beyond being able to actually have jokes and talk about certain things. That's why when you look at somebody, it's like, oh, black comedians can have these jokes about black people because they know black people, because they're black people. But a white comedian can't joke about this. Hey, what if that white comedian is someone like Eminem? Eminem can't say like the N-word? Why not? Doesn't he know black culture and things like this? I know he's never said it, but you can know these things. Life is appropriation. That is part of what I enjoy about life. My life itself has been appropriating different cultures. I've appropriated different cultures, different kinds of foods, different kinds of ideas, different kinds of thoughts, different kinds of time and places from different sorts of people, and that has made me a better person. And I think it would make you a better person if you started dropping some of these things and getting to know people and getting to allow people to joke about you, and joking about other people is part of that real welcoming environment. I think when you look at a group of friends joking and laughing around, and then you finally get to meet some of these people, and then you get in, and then they come up with a nickname for you, and then you finally have this thing. That's to me one of the really endearing things, when somebody feels they don't have to make a special dispensation to deal with you and act with you and act a certain way around you, where they can just be natural and just it's something that I've experienced several times. It was like, oh, you're finally in. You're finally part of the group. You're finally part of this in group. They finally accepted you in as just one of them. We're just people. We're just individuals here having a good time that are choosing to spend time together. And I think that's a positive thing. So that's it for now. Like, share, subscribe. Part of my Shorty series where I expand on short thoughts. Let me know what you think about this one. Till next time, links to merchandise store. I think I'm going to have something on my screen. There's this shirt, Friends Don't Let Friends Study Postmodernism. I think I might actually do a different version of this one. There's different kinds of friends. Friends joke with each other. This is something. There might be something with this one. And it's just some of these ideologies out there are just cancerous. It's a societal cancer. And I think we're getting over them. I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay as a human society. Team humor. Goodbye.